Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode with me, Nikhil Kumar, your host for today on White Pearl Studios. And today it's going to be another fantastic episode where we bring you stories of extraordinary journeys in art, culture, and life. Today's episode is very special. We have with us Srimati Premada Murli, a celebrated dancer, cultural ambassador, and torchbearer of the rich Bhagavata Mela tradition of Mellator. And welcome to you, Premada.
Thank you, Nikhil. It gives me immense pleasure to be on this platform.
Wow. Okay. Having said that, she's the daughter and disciple of Kalai Mamani, Natya Kalanidhi, and Sangeet Natak Academy awardee Guru Mellator Sri S. Natarajan, and a senior disciple of Padma awardee Srimati Chitra Vishweshwaran, and has carried forward a powerful legacy while carving her own unique path in the world of dance. In fact, I must add, ladies and gentlemen, from winning her first national award at the age of just 10 to performing at prestigious festivals to reviving folk traditions and running the Bhagavata Mela Vidyalaya for rural children, Premadaji has dedicated her life to making art both a spiritual offering and a social movement as well. Now, if you're wondering what's going to happen on this podcast, in this conversation, we'll explore her journey, her inspirations, her aspirations, her vision of how dance can transform individuals and communities alike. So you'll have to stay tuned with us for this entire podcast as we step into the vibrant world of art, tradition, and devotion with none other than Premada Murli. Once again, I'd like to say welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And it's such a pleasure for all of us here at White Pearl Studios to have you. All right, now, let's start from the root level, grassroots level, right? So you come from a family deep-rooted in the Bhagavata Mela tradition. What was your earliest, maybe childhood memories of dance, this dance form?
See, I come from a family of dancers.
Okay.
And of course, my father was deep-rooted into Bhagavata Mela tradition. He is an artist himself,
Okay.
And many feathers that he carried along,
Right.
apart from being an engineer.
Okay.
So, and to add, my mother was also from an artistic family.
Wow. Okay.
So even before, those days when, hosting a cultural group was not known,
Right.
my mother's family is again going to be a news to many of them here, your viewers, that it was her family that was hosting the Tiruviyar Tyagaraja Utsavam.
Oh.
And because my grandfather was the district educational officer, that belt of Tanjavur and Karaikudi. So he had a big bungalow. And including President V.V. Giri
Wow.
and our Bharat Ratna M.S. Subbalakshmi were hosted in my mom's house.
Wow.
And an information to all of your viewers
Right.
that M.S. Mami used to sing for the Unjal in all our weddings in our family, my mother's
Wow.
family.
Wow.
And M.S. Mami used to call my grandmother Amma.
Oh.
We were that close. So my maternal side also was very artistically inclined.
Okay.
And my aunts used to sing for Padma Vibhushan, Kuchipudi exponent Dr. Raja Radha Reddy. And my another aunt was a dancer. And my mother used to be a veena player. So were my aunts.
Wow.
So we
Okay.
were, my another aunt was a physical education director.
Okay.
So academically, artistically, mom's side was also very strong.
Okay.
So all that, it came naturally to me, maybe. So it was ingrained in my blood. And I was told that, or I remember too, at the age of 2.5, I used to recite the Bhagavata Mela stories, sing and dance myself.
When you were 2.5 years old.
2.5. And I remember that too.
Should we say this is the power of having parents from a very culturally rich background? Because I think, let's say 3 generations. Can we say 3 generations or 2?
No, my son is the 4th generation.
Wow. So 4 generations of culturally rich, let's say, heritage. Can we say
Yes.
legacy?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now, a lot of people think it's a pressure to be born in a family which is, traditionally, culturally active for, say, 4 generations. Now, how was it being called the daughter of Guru Mellator Sri S. Natarajan? Now, for me, it's fascinating to know how did it actually shape Premada Murli today.
Blissful. It was very blissful.
Okay.
It was never a pressure. It was more of bliss and bliss and bliss every time.
Okay.
That encountered experiences with my parents, because since mom also was very
Right.
artistic,
Right.
and to be an artist
Right.
is very difficult. You
Yes,
can be
yes.
professionally in IT, whatever. Those days it was an engineer or a
Correct.
doctor or
Correct.
a lawyer,
Right.
but to be again artistically inclined, and which becomes a predominant factor in your life, it's difficult for your spouse also to travel in the same line.
Right.
But fortunately both of them were hand in hand, and 50 years of life together, 77 years of lifetime service to uphold this cause.
Wow.
I think it was just natural for me and my sisters to get ingrained into this path, and it wasn't a pressure at all.
Take us through the journey that you started. Let's say you started from, I will not say 2.5 years, because you started reciting the the Bhagavata stories. But let's say from 2.5 years. Tell us through this fascinating journey of yours. In what are those I'll not say challenges, but because you said it's blissful. Take us through that blissful journey as to how you evolved in this art form, slowly but steadily. Let's say.
Yeah, so it was, I would say again, it was very fulfilling for me, is
Okay.
what I could say.
Did you
Was
naturally
always-
adopt it? I mean, because a lot of people will think, pressure is that, when father is an actor or a singer or or an artist of any form, they say it's very difficult for because the yardstick becomes, difficult, right? To, fulfill that. So here, how was it? Did you take it naturally? How did it evolve into?
I wouldn't say I took it naturally. I
Okay.
would be lying if I said that.
Okay.
Because I had my own
Okay.
likes too.
Right.
So, and my mom was also because my mom's family were academicians and artists.
Right.
She was very particular that we also do our academics very well.
Right.
So this is from the basic, from our upbringing. So
Right.
she was very particular about our marks.
Right.
And at the same time, she was very particular that we did our dance lessons also correctly.
Okay.
So the upbringing was very balanced. We had to do both. We had to, if we did both, we have to do both good. And I started getting, because I don't know, it's not because I was Natarajan's daughter,
Okay.
but because we were in Dubai, and there were a lot of opportunities through Indian associations Dubai.
Right.
We had a lot of opportunities to present our culture and tradition. So it was like many opportunities came that way, and we could expose ourselves, expose our talent, and there were awards, there were recognitions.
Right.
It was true. There was that time there was no social media to tell who you
True.
are, what
True.
you are.
Absolutely.
So it was total hard work that was recognized.
Right.
So you felt nice. Audience coming because it's this so and so is dancing,
yeah.
and the recognitions that came way. So it was nice, and at the same time, the schools then also gave lot of scope for art, and because we were in a foreign country,
Right.
they were very happy to host and promote and protect our Indian culture and heritage, be it any belief,
Right.
any dharma. Everything was there equally protected and propagated and appreciated. So that's when we started coming out and showing, and we said, okay, it's nice. You're an ambassador. So it felt good. It felt good.
Your father, Mr. Natarajan, was already a very accomplished artist,
Yeah.
right? So very early on, do you remember what all aspects or what all positive factors you learned from him? Because I know your mother also family had culturally strong. They also are artists. But let's talk about your father first. What did you learn early on from him, being an artist?
Surrender.
Oh wow, okay.
That's something strong I felt right from the beginning. Because I felt for him, his art was above him. His
Wow,
his
that's quite a statement.
yeah, it was his art and nothing but his art.
Mhm.
His self never came to the forefront.
Okay.
He was I always felt he was commissioned to propagate
So-
art by
Right.
a divine force or whatever
Right.
super force,
Right.
and he's there to try to transform the lives through the art that he practiced, that he preached, that he experienced. So he was always a very responsible art citizen. And which is why he's respected even today by the art fraternity, not just in India, everywhere around the globe.
Right. Did he very specifically teach you certain things when it comes to art, particular dance form? Did he particularly teach you as a father, saying, Priyamada, come here, learn this, or were there any specific teachings of him from a father-daughter relationship per se?
He taught his students better than he did me.
I think most daughters say that all the time. Is it?
He was never. I was never given a priority.
Okay.
I was always part of the rest of the group.
Okay.
And that was one of the reasons that he moved me from Dubai
Acha.
to Chennai, which was the cultural hub.
Of course.
And put me under another senior guru, whom he thought would help me shape my artistic instincts.
Do you somewhere have you ever felt that because I'm his daughter, he's doing this to me, or is it that that's the personality that he was? Was it because he thought somewhere he might end up that favoritism somewhere lands up, right?
Knowing him, I knew I would have to face this someday.
Okay, all right. Now, in the beginning of the podcast, when we were doing our introduction, you won your first national award at just 10 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still struggling to win one. At whatever, I'm not going to reveal my age, but then whatever. Do you still remember what that moment felt like when you were a young dancer? Let me just attribute the word dancer to you already, because you started at the age of 2.5, but 10. You're 10 years old, national award. Because I really want to understand what went through you psychologically.
Very good question. So I was a fresh clay there and getting molded into
Right.
dance and all those artistic abilities into me.
Right.
I was learning dance, and then I told you the school came up with this United Schools organization, which is part
Acha.
of UNO.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they were organizing this festival in India, and our own English high school, the school that I studied in Dubai, were
Right.
one of the first schools to be invited to participate out of India. So
Acha.
I do not know
Okay.
what conditions or preconditions were there. So, but I knew that we were the selected ones going to participate from Dubai.
Okay.
So it was not the school within India I came from Dubai.
Dubai, okay.
So, but we were all Indians. That's
Right,
all
right,
mattered
of course, of
to the
course.
organizers. So we were a team of 7 or 8 who went from Dubai, and I think our principal accompanied, or our vice principal accompanied us, and my father readied us. And the interesting thing is, this is what I would say now add that what my father taught. He taught us, when you go for a competition, first of all, don't see it as a competition. See it as a platform to expose yourself, understand the new set of audience who are there. And what does it teach you? Try to satisfy the needs of the the competition realms that give you. If they say 3 minutes, do it within 3 minutes, and always present something that nobody else would have thought of.
Right.
So he chose an instrumental
Being creative.
piece. Yeah. So instrumental piece that which was just 3 minutes was the time given to us, and there were 800 participants.
Wow.
So he set exactly a 3-minute instrumental piece, and all kind of steps. I do still remember what gymnastics I would have done there.
Okay.
So all that
Right.
was taught and was sent for the Indian audience. It was something very new, very innovative. So I think that was one of the reason that at that time and I knew the judges were all from very highly
Very accomplished.
accomplished judges, because it was part of UNO, right? So
Right,
you can't.
Yeah.
It had a great platform, and then I knew. Then I came for solo. There was solo, there were group, there were folk.
right.
I came solo classical first prize.
Wow.
Took the shield and came back. And
Not knowing anything, because you're 10 years old, you just went like
I
it's
went
just
and,
like any other
yeah,
competition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I went. I had the shield. I arrive at Dubai airport. I come out, and this is what everybody has to know. There was a red carpet welcome,
Wow.
and I see my principal standing, my vice principal, my teachers, my parents this side, and that's when I realized that it is not about the award. It's about what responsibilities the award brings with you,
Wow.
and what kind of thing you have to. At that age, I realized that
Yeah.
it's not. I'm okay. I'm
Yeah,
got an
okay.
award. I'm coming back home.
Right.
And immediately the school arranged a press meet for me. My first press meet was at the age of, I think, 10
10?
or 11. Yeah,
10
10.
or 11.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's when I realized that these are all moments that I'm not going to get back, and I need to be grateful for where I have been born and what I have to do further for the school and for my family. It was because it said family of dancers, the headline. And that too in Dubai,
In
those
Dubai,
days
yeah.
where Indian culture was it's a very alien
Correct.
thing to them.
Yes.
So
it wasn't appreciated, or rather, it was not brought to the forefront.
Yeah.
You know, it took time for it to evolve,
So-
and Dubai is not what it
is
was.
now,
Yeah, no,
and people are more aware of
Yes,
things
yes.
around them now. So it
Yes.
was like, and I could see a sense of small sparkle on my father's eye, and then I
Right.
get okay. So this
Yes.
is what it does. So I must do more.
How did your parents react to the national award? How did they-
Can I
Yeah.
tell you this?
Yes,
He was always my guru first,
correct.
not my father.
Right.
So after that, he always had this habit. So good, you won. They're always composed. My
Right.
mom would carry on with her next
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Dad would.
Yeah.
There'd be a list of things to do for me to correct. In that
Oh.
3-minute piece that I did,
Okay.
and there were no videos and mobiles then to
Right.
check and
yeah, I was
tell.
going to ask you, how did that happen? How did the correction happen? So you had to perform again in front of your father, or he saw it live and then he said,
There was no live also because it was word
I mean,
of
he
mouth.
came-
Word of mouth that he heard from whoever.
Oh.
So he had somebody there who
Uh-huh.
knew dance and music to observe me, not
Wow.
as a participant, but
This is
I mean not
fascinating.
as a daughter present, but as a
Right.
participant,
Okay.
and see the possible mistakes, not the finishes, but mistakes that she would do.
Okay.
Literally, he had to critically review my performance
Wow.
and send a note to him. And knowing him, he was seen me dancing.
Yeah.
He would know if I would have done that mistake or not.
He would know it.
That's how every performance. He never brought the factor of father instinct in him. It was always guru, and until today it is that factor that motivates me. So
Right.
always I misunderstood that a father is doing a tribute for the daughter. No,
No.
it's the disciple who is doing a tribute for her guru.
Wow. It's always stayed that.
It's today, even now it's that.
Even now.
I'm doing a online tribute fifth year now,
Uh-huh.
because he always said that at the passing away of me, let the art continue through the disciples whom I've raised,
Wow.
and bring together artists who are working for the cause, to strive for the cause, for the
Right.
betterment of the community, which is
Right.
what the work I'm doing now.
Right.
So he said, let that live. So don't
Right.
grieve that I'm gone.
Right,
The
right.
art is still there.
Right.
So let the art live through
Right.
my memory. So which is what I
Having
do.
having said this, I think this is the right moment to for you to explain to everybody who's watching this podcast as to what right now is happening. Like you said, this is the 5th year that after your father's passing away, that you are continuing,
Yes.
not just the legacy, but also continuing to do so much for the community in using this dance form. Now tell us what all is happening.
Yeah. So we were in Dubai,
Yeah.
and at that time, even classes in Indian culture and heritage were much sought after. So that Appa being,
Yeah.
my father being already a internationally acclaimed dancer, a
Yeah.
practitioner of Bhagavata Mela tradition,
Bhagavata, yeah.
who excelled in lady roles, in the
Yeah.
dance drama traditions that were part of the dance dramas that used to be. So he started taking classes for the children there in Dubai.
Right, Dubai.
So he was always connected to a culture, and he always felt the younger generation of the torch bearers of our
Right.
culture and tradition. So he was passing the lessons there. After he settled and came back to Melatur, the village that he came from, and which is the cradle of this Bhagavata Mela tradition, which is a 500-year-old tradition, he found the children, especially the girls, roaming around the streets after the school or college
Yeah.
hours, hardly having anything to
To
do
do,
because
yeah.
they didn't have resources and
Yes,
means.
yes.
So going to college and school and the next possible city for their town was for another 20 kilometers
20
away.
kilometers, yeah.
So they couldn't manage all that. So my mom said, why don't you start classes for them here? But you can't charge them because they can't
Of course,
afford.
they can't afford,
So
yeah.
so then he said, okay, let me try it for free. So then the 2-3 children he knew in the village, because he just settled there.
Right.
So long it was Natrajan, the dancer from Mela, but now he became a resident of the village.
Yes.
So then they were the eldest in the village. So uncle or mama has come. So they were even he was a huge colossal figure,
Right.
for them.
Right.
Who they used to he used to be a commanding respect. That
Because
he
I
had.
think at that stage it would have been either intimidating for people,
Yeah.
or it could be that, oh, how can I approach such a,
Same thing, exactly.
Yeah.
You said it
Yeah.
right. So he had to break it somewhere, and
Yeah.
he realized that.
How did
this
he
is
do that? I mean, just asking. Very curious.
Yeah. So what he did, he sent it through the children itself.
Oh,
So he had 2-3 children who used to come home and
Yeah.
help them
word
out.
of mouth again.
Yeah, exactly. So he said, see here, Bala was the child's name.
Okay.
I will tell you what she was troubled with.
Okay.
So I said, she had rickets.
Oh, okay.
And dad in Appa in Dubai
Mhm.
transformed a cerebral palsy student to dance.
Wow.
So dance for him was just not dance. It was not just going to class, exercising your
Can I say
body.
transformation?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was more internalizing
Mhm.
and changing your whole perspective through art, through body, mind, and soul. It was for him a healing aspect.
Right.
Coming back, so he said, it's not a problem. We can cure. You can treat this through dance, and I will teach many of you like this. So why don't you bring your friends?
Okay. Wow.
She was more keen. Oh, rickets can be cured through dance. Then he said, okay, I will bring. So that's when she went on the cycle to bring. And then next day there were about 6 of them. And in 2020, when we lost him, there were 60. Today there are 250 children learning for free.
Wow.
Not just in the village that he started, but I have covered a radius of 12 to 15 kilometer villages
From
in and
Melator.
around from Melator.
Okay.
So there are about 12 villages now. I also
Wow.
teach in Triviyar Tirmanur, which is the closest
Right.
big town, where I take Avvai slokams, Saint Avvayar slokams, which I think everybody should read every day.
Right.
It just transforms you within.
Wow.
So this I decode in dance because they know to recite the slokam, but they do not know what it means. So when you teach through dance, when you teach through gestures,
Yeah.
it just gets ingrained in
Yes.
their mind,
Yeah.
and they start thinking. And children these days question.
Right.
They don't lie. They
Yeah.
ask me, why does you say Lakshmi is on a lotus? How can Lakshmi stand on the lotus?
Yes.
There's a meaning.
Yes.
Why
They're
is
very-
Saraswati on a stone? There is a
Right.
meaning.
Right.
Why is Shiva having a snake? Why
Right.
is he holding Ganga on the top?
Right.
There's a meaning.
Right.
So I decode all these meanings to them and tell. So this is what it means. They need to understand what.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
need
That's what I learned from looking at my father.
Wow. Now, let's talk about this journey from Bharatanatyam to Bhagavata Mela. How did your gurus, including Srimati Chitra Vishweshwaran, influence your artistic style? Because every artist comes with their own style. They evolve to be that artist in the end of it. So, how did your gurus
So
influence you?
I told you about my father. He
Yes.
helped me think, and surrender was his message.
Okay.
My guru Chitra Vishweshwaran, those who are in the art field know how creative, how graceful, how she is.
Right.
And she always told us that dance is visual music.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And she taught me the sense of internalization.
Okay.
Connect with your body and mind, and dance to what is being rendered, so
Right.
which will have a different reach to the audience. And she brought in those artistic creative thinking. She said, question anything that you are learned.
Wow.
So there should be, she taught me the rational and irrational, how it works in dance.
Oh, there is a rational, irrational as well in dance?
This one piece that she taught me, I
Okay.
would always say that every time when you explain this to me, you explain it very differently. So she said, so what Maya, what you
Okay.
don't see
Is-
and
yeah.
what you see. So
Yeah.
connecting between these two is what you understand,
Okay.
and you ultimately leave the room saying, yes, this is what the change that dance has done to me.
Wow. Okay. Priyamada Murali has become an accomplished dancer today. What were your questions for your gurus? is what my question is to you now. What was those intriguing questions that used to pop up in your mind when you were going through that transformation phase with your gurus? Anything that you want to share?
I don't think I had the guts to question my gurus.
No, I mean, you would have at least you would have
as
said
a-
why. Because as a kid, as a 10-year, let's say 10-year-old, when you won your first national award, what was that set of questions that used to pop up? Something would have come up saying, the learning process, because like you said, the questions would have come and the gurus used to answer them diligently. So what was your set of questions that came up?
See, my both gurus worked very differently.
Okay.
Uh,
Do you want to share that bond as well? So,
yeah. So I would always say like they were my two eyes, and they are still today. One I
Okay.
can see still. One is not with me, but within me now.
Right.
My dad, my father, and Chitra Vishweshwaran. So when it was my father, I would always say, why are you functioning like this when others are functioning differently?
Did you question that?
I did.
Okay.
Why, what do you? I mean, I realize that now. Why he did that?
Right.
There were things that he never expressed.
Right.
I mean, if I found something wrong, I would call up my student and say, "This is wrong. This is how you do."
Right.
And I used to depute work,
Right.
but he didn't.
Acha.
He never deputed. He says, it will not reach my expectations. This is what I want out of these things. This is how I will function.
Okay.
So I always asked him, like, you're a great guru, but why don't you do, why are you like this? Is so when you don't like it, why don't you say you don't like it? Why are you not expressing? Why are you not strict?
Right. Oh, he
Well-
wasn't a strict guru as such.
He was strict, but he would never this is wrong.
Because people have this perception, for let's demystify
Yeah.
it. People have this perception of any guru, any mentor. They think the guru is always with a stick in his hand.
You can call up any of my father's students, around the world. They are
Right.
all in different
Of course.
realms of work now.
Right.
But he had a way of carrying out things. He would
Okay.
be silent, and just that look you would understand. Okay,
Right.
this is what he wants. He would never express that explicitly that this is what it is. He had his way of functioning.
Okay.
Somehow it will get done.
So if
But-
he had to correct you, he will just tell you that, hey, this needs to be corrected. That's it.
That's it. And he would correct us more than he corrected his team of people who work under him,
Okay.
because he had a way. But somehow they were all bound to him. They would all come back and listen
Right.
because they knew that this is how he is and this is what he would expect. So he was never.
I think basically because those corrections would work in your favor. I think it would have made the other person a better person, a better artist, I guess so. So was it the case, same case with Srimati Chitra?
she was very explicit in her. She would outrightly say,
Outrightly say it,
this is
okay.
right, this is wrong, this is how it is.
Uh-huh.
And she was very progressive, I would say.
Okay.
Whereas my father was very connected very innately. So there was always a calm and poised way of
Right.
whereas she was like Ganga, just come out.
Right, right.
So like,
oh, wow. Like Ganga.
yeah,
Wow.
it's
Okay.
come out, So it was should be vibrant with emotions and things. So you had to be very quick with your thinking. You can't sit and relax and say, okay,
Right.
this is what she's trying to say. There were two different energies that I was handling.
Wow.
So those two energies have come into me to help me.
That's what I said. Now I'm thinking when you said my right eye or left eye, they're a pair
The
of
left
eyes
is
now.
calm, the right
is-
is always fierce.
Okay. Now, you've assisted your father for more than, say, 25, 30 years?
35 years.
35 years, okay. In his magnum work on Bhagavata Mela, right? Now, what were some of the biggest lessons you learned with regards to Bhagavata Mela as such? Because that's something that I think the world now needs to know, his work and your work. So what are basically your lessons as an artist or not as an artist? Because I know a lot of life lessons also would have been, inscribed into you. So take us through that journey.
Let me come to the life's lessons first.
Okay.
So I was associated with him through Bhagavata Mela, and coming from that family, it was already there.
Yeah.
But he told me, don't be attached to that work that you're doing.
Oh, okay.
So it may be this work, it may be something else.
Mm-hmm.
Today, you're doing work with me. Tomorrow, you may have a different call.
Okay. The calling itself would be different, is what he's saying. Okay.
Calling itself. So you will still be doing some work, but don't be attached to the work. Don't be attached to the results that is giving you. So
Okay.
he always, so that was, in short, the life lesson I can tell.
Okay.
And in terms of what Bhagavatamela taught me, or what experience I had working with him, because Bhagavatamela was predominantly a male tradition where
Okay.
even
Mhm.
male did the female roles, and I had no out front role because I was a lady.
Mhm.
But it so happened that I was able to train, being a dancer myself, a trained dancer coming from a great Guru
Right.
Sishya
Mhm.
parampara. I could train the younger generation artists into this art form. So I've trained so many number of artists. So when I trained them, he kind of made me bring out the nuances, the deeper nuances, which was never done before.
Okay.
So I took out the script and what actually the composer would have wanted it, so, which was never done before.
Right.
So he indirectly expected that out of me, or rather, I thought I should do all this to bring out, because I know what he would expect, what his expectations are out of the tradition, out of the plays that are being
Right.
done so far, because he himself used to discover it was a discovery of himself every time he performed,
Okay.
because it's the same 12 dramas you're performing every year,
Right.
and it's the same play, it's the same script.
Mhm.
In what way is it going to be different every year? Nobody is going to sit and listen to the same Prahalada who prays to Narsimha,
Right.
who comes out of the
Right.
pillar,
Right.
you know. So
Right.
he had that creative what do I say, freedom to show that character in different layers every time that he did. The
Oh.
story is the same,
Yeah.
but
How
he
do you
brought it
present
out
it?
different layers. So
Okay.
every time the artist used to come and see his perhaps his Chandramadi and Harishchandra was different every time. So they used to say he's a library of emotions. So that is what made me okay. So when I present this character, this year should be different from the next year. So they don't want to see the same Prahlada doing every year the same story.
Right.
So that is what I learned, that you should try to make it different every year.
Was it in any way that you, being his daughter, could actually contribute to this creative process that he was doing?
Absolutely. I feel proud to say that.
Wow. So any incident that you want to tell us today that, hey, this was the creative part that he came up with and I could contribute whatever your 2 cents into that. Is there any incident that you remember in?
Yes, in Bhagavatamela you're asking me.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Bhagavatamela, as I said, there was this thing called Stambastuti.
Okay.
So which is very, very sacred in that whole play of Prahalada Charitram. Perhaps artists have done before. I'm not talking about those. So knowing him, how he would want it. So Stamba is the pillar, you know,
Right.
and Narsimha comes out.
Correct.
So there is a stuti, that prayer that goes before the. It's a dance drama, right?
Correct.
So there's an elaboration, there's a dramatic element. So he comes out of the pillar. So when he comes out of the pillar, there's a special prayer which is very unique to only Bhagavatamela. You don't see the Stambastuti anywhere else recited.
Right.
So it had the various emotions that a boy of that age, Prahalada. All that we know is Narsimha came, and then Narsimha isn't there, is there in the pillar. Prahalada
Right.
prays, breaks open.
Yeah.
But what the child would have gone through in that moment before the Lord comes out. Hiranyakashipu is asking, his father is threatening, and Narsimha has to come. What if he didn't come? Did you all ever think of it? What would the child have gone through? Those were there in that Stambastuti.
Acha.
I was like, I'm at the threshold of being, just done. And I have instilled so much of devotion in you, Lord. So if you don't come out now, like, my bhakti will be questioned by everybody else.
Wow.
What all he would have gone through. I brought this through dance. I
Right.
brought this language. I literally translated the lyrics into dance,
Oh.
into a message. So I remember the first day he saw that in the rehearsal, he was beating because he wheels the cymbals when
Right.
this is done.
Right.
By then he's done with his role on that day.
Right.
He just kept it. The tears were rolling, and
Wow.
he and
What a
he,
moment.
he just raised his head to the dancer and to the Bhagavatas who were singing, and he said, "I saw him. The him is Narsimha."
Wow. What a moment that should have been.
It was something that I knew, okay, I have done something. And it is not because I recreated
Right,
something, or
right.
I knew when he said I saw him, I knew that
That was it.
that was it, because this is what dance should be. I try to tell this to all the people nowadays, like, don't go just for class, or don't go
Yeah.
another entertainment. You see something, realize something, experience, not Narsimha or Vishnu or it's just Shiva, that experience, that power.
The fragment of imagination.
Yeah,
or
and
the
the
power,
that
you.
the positivity that is going to come into you,
Okay.
that will give you the strength to carry on, which is the strength that I'm still moving on. Had my father told me, my guru told me that this is Bhagavata Mela, this is what you are within this thing, you will have to teach, you continue this, I wouldn't have probably thought of carrying his Bhagavata Mela Vidyalaya today,
Yeah.
which is making the entire global community come and seek. They feel so nice.
Yeah.
It is recognized that they recognize and appreciate such a work happening for the rural children.
Wow, amazing. Now, since we spoke about, let's say, we are talking about devotion in some sorts here, right, to that particular character. Now, Bhagavata Mela is both, can I say, art and devotion? Is a good combination of that, in a way?
They're one.
They're one. Okay. Now, how do you explain its unique place in, say, let's talk about the Indian culture scene as such, that Indian culture heritage, how do you explain this oneness in that to someone who doesn't know this art form at all, someone who doesn't have a clue of what this is all about?
It's just basic. All these, our Indian culture, tradition, whatever
Right.
that you're doing, it's just one lesson it teaches us: good over evil.
Evil.
That's it. That's
Wow.
the lesson you come and learn there. You see the power of good over evil. Just not Bhagavad Mela. Take Bhagavad Gita. It is timeless, right?
Yeah.
Now everybody listens to Bhagavad Gita because it's a timeless lesson on how we conduct ourselves every day.
Right.
So is Bhagavad Mela. It's just generic. It's just generic.
Okay.
All those stories or something. It is how you lead yourself. What should you be? How should you be every day? And how being part of this artistic journey, how it helps you survive those struggles, those things. You see Prahalada, I think you can see him every day.
Some form of the other. He's existing
There's
every
Prahalada,
inside.
Hiranyakashipu, at the
Right.
present day time. So I would say it's just timeless, and
Okay.
you don't have to make it very, it's very religious. So it's not.
Got it. In the beginning of the podcast, you mentioned about the Bhagavata Mela Vidyalaya. It started off as very small, say 60, 50 students. Today, 200 plus students. Now, what were the challenges in actually nurturing this particular institution?
Yeah. So when Guru Natarajan started it, it was just simple. He wanted it to be a school for the lesser privileged who can
Okay.
experience the art and he wanted them to sensitize in their emotions, and
Mhm.
because art makes you art sensitizes you, how you
Right.
feel, your
Right.
approach, your
Right.
outlook
Mhm.
on outside life, your life's lessons, everything. He wanted to empower and enrich their lives
Okay.
giving this art form, and he wanted to start it in the village. I really don't know what he would have envisioned, what was that actually that ran in his mind or within his mind. What did he want out of the school? Why did he start this? I have no clue. But today
Has he never expressed
greatest
that
tribute.
part to you ever as a father? He's never. Okay, so the intention behind starting this school stayed with him.
Yeah, it stayed with him, but being this is very complex, this guru shishya. Very difficult to explain
Right.
what goes between a guru and a shishya.
Right.
Knowing him, I kind of knew that this is perhaps what he would have wanted it to be.
Okay.
Why would a guru he cannot just start something on the go and leave it.
Right.
There has to be a lineage.
Yes.
There has to be a
Legacy.
a tradition.
Right.
And there has to be a parampara.
Right. Did he envision anywhere during his entire lifetime that you would actually carry forward his legacy this way?
He has not told me, but I hear from many others.
Or so he has then expressed it some way or the other, or is
He
it
would,
just that?
I have never heard. He has never come here and said, "Look, you're taking care of the school. I'm leaving this behind for you. This is what you're going to do." He's never told.
never
No,
told.
I don't think any guru ever. If you saw the lives of gurus,
Yeah.
they don't.
They just do it.
They
They
do
know
it
that
live,
somewhere
they
and-
know that power would bring.
Yeah.
That power would.
So you mean to say that every guru in the world will consciously choose the shishya? I'm just trying to understand.
It has happened many times. It is,
Okay. So
it
in
is-
this case, is it the same as well?
I cannot answer that question. The chosen one. Incidentally, I was his daughter. That's all.
Okay. Now, can you share us a special story of, say, transformation that you witnessed among the rural children, who are being trained at this particular Vidyalaya? Any story, that short story that you remember of transformation that you saw with your own eyes?
Yes, there was. Again, so teaching, you asked me for challenges, which I actually didn't answer.
Right.
So the challenges is like, so when he left behind the school, I was like lost, because you always think such gurus are eternal. Not your father. Your guru is eternal. There is no end. But then when he was physical absence, I realized how much I was. He always kept a distance. Like he would never.
Okay.
But they were now that you know what presence you would have had.
Yeah.
So he always never made us dependent on him, or there was always a distance, and we would naturally follow what he said, because
Right.
it was very obvious the kind of persona he would obviously
Yeah.
make us do what he wants.
That's right.
With that silence, haunting silence that he
Haunting
carried
silence. Yeah.
around him. So, but after him, I realized, what am I going to do for a artist like this?
Right.
How am I going to keep up what he's left behind? What am I going to do? So am I going to go back home, take care of my own dance school in Bangalore and just sit? What about the work that I've done all these years? Am I
Right.
just going to suck it and sit?
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm still daughter disciple of Melatur Guru Sri S. Natarajan. I am a disciple of Chitra Vishweshwaran.
Right.
What am I going to do to the lessons that they have taught me? Am I
Right.
just going to throw it away and sit? That's when I have to mention my family came up here. My sisters who said, Vidyalaya is there, so you know dance. What,
Your sisters are also active in this?
yeah, they support me. But my youngest sister takes RE artwork to empower them through handworks. Because dance, they may not be able to continue, but this is enterprising for them. So she
Enterprising, yeah.
teaches that. My other sister in Canada is into Vedantam and things. So she knows what goes besides all, behind all this. So they said, why don't you... they said, again, because I had nothing else to do. They saw the eyes of those children, the dreams that were, brought to them. They're like, uncle is gone. What are we going? So is this all? Our dreams of dancing and going, seeing places, seeing platforms,
Right.
experiencing.
Right.
Is it all?
Right.
I failed to notice that, but they noticed that and said, this is what they are. I can see in them. So what are you going to do? Are you going to leave them and go back to Bangalore, pack everything and go?
Wow.
And my husband and my son were also through this. So they said, this is what you're going to do as a daughter? Think.
Wow. It's a
That
very-
one moment I decided, I'm taking it up. I will take up the cause of these children. And not in wildest of my thought, I dreamt that Vidyalaya will come this far.
Right.
It was like Bhagavata Mela is only once in a year, those 10 days. But now Vidyalaya's magnum work, I would say magnum work,
Of course.
is happening every week. Every week we are traveling with a project. Every week I'm asked for a project. Now the moment that you're asking for is not just from those students whose lives have transformed for the better through art. I'll tell you that later. But there's this global community, artists from abroad, artists from India,
Right.
who want to come and teach lessons so that they can be a part of this transformation journey.
Wow.
There are
That's
leading,
massive.
architectures,
Right.
the Vedic practitioners,
Scholars.
scholars, the temple scholars, temple historians.
Wow.
Because my thing is to reach out to them, not just by everyday mundane things that dance teaches, but to go search within through our ancient literature, culture. Texts, temple sanctums, where what actually miracles and life changed for many. So that is it. So there's this one girl who thought her she's done, But then I said, if you're not going to come and dance for me now,
Right.
I cannot replace somebody else at the last moment. This is what you're going to give back to me, because the lessons go free for them.
True.
I'm not charging them.
True.
So I said,
Guru Rakshana has to be there.
This is I don't expect anything from you all, but I have thought that you will be able to do this, because they enact the leading figures of leading characters pertaining to that temples or whatever.
Right.
So I have conceived you in my mind. So I cannot think of anybody else. If you're not going to come and do now, and if you think you are done with dance because of some other external problems, what is the commitment? What is the example you're going to give to the others who are there like you?
Right.
Today she is like, whatever be it, I'm there.
I'm there. Wow.
She broke her, she had a knee issue, but she was lying down flat for 15-20 minutes for that role,
Wow.
because I said,
That's a kind of commitment that.
yeah. And this thought, I probably, and there are children who have no, we call vasanas, who have no, past, it could be a past karma that they did, or a past janma they did something that they are able to practice this art now, because they have no, what do I say, nobody artistic, artistic inclination to, I am from an artistic, from not them, but what I want, they present.
Wow.
So it is.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So this is what I would say is a transforming moment. And coming back to my Bangalore class, these children look up to those kids, because the Bangalore kids have their own challenges and limitations and everything. But when they see Vidyalaya performing, and when they see Vidyalaya delivering, my Bangalore kids say, "Ma'am, there's so much to learn from them. We want to do more for them."
Right.
So this is the moment for me, not any awards or number of performances I give. The transformation that happens between my kids here and my students there. I feel I have to do more.
Wow, wonderful. Now, we have been talking about this aspect of, you said your father, Sri Natarajan, was more a guru than the father as such. So all the interactions that you would have had, most likely would have had from a dance perspective and artistic perspective as a guru-shishya combination, right? Now, I want to understand, what does it mean personally for you to carry forward your father's rich legacy? It is not easy. And I know those shoulders would have felt the pressure, right? Personally, as a daughter, what does it feel today to carry forward your father's legacy?
I would quote, because it's too much, it takes a long time.
I understand, sure.
I would quote, and again, there were many people in my lives who have transformed in these last 5 years, I would say. Many artists who have been with me to have transformed or guided me, because I was lost after, just now you said, because as a daughter I was lost.
Correct.
Because as a shishya,
As
as a shishya, I knew I was doing right. But as a daughter, I didn't know whether I'm taking too much on me. I had my family. I mean, at the end of the day, you are a woman.
Right.
You need to take care of your home. You need to make your coffee. You need to
Yes.
cook. You need to see all those things. So I didn't know whether I was trying to balance myself. I was balancing. I know. Otherwise, I couldn't have carried this work so far. But there was this artist, very interesting, you will also like to know, Dr. Padma Shri Vijayalakshmi Navneet Krishnans, who are the folk legends of India.
Okay.
I called them on something and I said, this is what happened and this is what I'm doing. And they said, your life's purpose is this.
Served. Wow.
No questions,
Okay.
no doubts. Just carry on. If it weren't meant, you wouldn't be in the place that you are. So don't question.
Wow. You believe that personally?
I believe.
Wow. That's a very powerful thing to believe in, because that's going to, be your present and future too.
Yeah. So
Wow.
they said, this is your life. They did quote from our own ancient literature work and said, this line exactly meets what you are. So don't question.
So joining the dots now, would it be fair on my part to say that your father somewhere knew as a father that, down the line, my daughter is going to carry forward my legacy, and that's when he always wanted to have a guru-shishya combination or a relationship going on, rather than portraying the father's role significantly? Do you think somewhere he knew?
I would love to answer this question
Yeah.
because when I got almost 92 in 10th standard,
Wow. Okay.
my father would have been the only father who had taken me for 11th standard admission and put me into history.
He did that.
And
Okay.
my principal is like, what kind of a father? That I know you're Natarajan, you're a great
Yeah.
artist, but this is demeaning your daughters, I think.
Right.
My mom wanted me also to study. I always liked to do medicine or something paramedical, whatever.
Okay.
So, but then he said no. If she, I mean, not that I history or something is.
Of course.
Those days, like
demeaning
yeah,
any subject.
yeah.
That's it,
So
but-
I love history. Not
Right,
that I don't
right,
like history.
right.
So he said if she goes into science or something, she may change her line of career. So I
Okay.
want her to be in arts. So history, geography, English all had great value for my father. So he put me into
Somewhere he wanted you to stay under the same umbrella.
yeah.
He didn't want you to.
Perhaps this year, this time, I mean, this generation would have thought I can manage both because most of my students are engineers and
Yes,
doctors
yes,
and
yes.
even the one who runs classes in Vidyalaya. Is
I think it's a perception of people also, because I think arts and culture and all the stuff was considered to be hobby at some point
Yeah,
in time.
yeah.
Till it evolved to become, now it's all careers, and
Yeah.
it's made into a
Yeah.
full-fledged. People are excelling in this
Yeah.
field today,
So-
because as a musician I can say the same thing too, because when I started off, nothing was a career, and then radio, I started off radio. I said, what radio? There's nothing. You just sit there, announce and do things, it was not seen as an industry. So today I
Yeah.
think all the art forms have got the
So
recognition.
he knew,
somewhere,
that's
yeah.
why that this is, it's not wrong, it's not wrong.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy, but then I always had that, I should have studied science, but I could have studied science, but my sisters excelled in that field. So he would have had.
Okay. Now, I have to definitely mention about the numerous awards that you've got all through your career. Correct me if I'm wrong in the pronunciations. Natya Kalai Semmal, is that correct? And the Tirumular Award, you got that, and also the ancient title of, how do you pronounce that? Talai?
Kol Asan.
Kol Asan.
Talai
Talai?
is
Got it.
Kol. It's
Kol.
the Kol.
Right.
Asan is the guru.
Wow. Okay. Now, which recognition out of these have given you the most, let's say, meaningful feeling or contentment, or you're aspiring for more? What's it been?
I haven't achieved much. I need to do
Now, that's
more.
very humble of you to say
Yeah.
that, but then
Yeah, I need to do more, and these are very special because it never came from. It just happened to me, and these awards stood for the work that I did. It was not a generic award that you see.
Got it.
They specifically stood for, like the first one, Natya Kalai Semmal, came from Saint Avayar School.
it's got a history to that as
Yeah.
well. Okay.
So I got
Okay.
it from there because it was a pan-Indian conference on life's values by Saint Avayar. So
Okay.
I presented the code of living through Avayar, through dance.
Through dance,
So
okay.
they
Wonders.
recognized me with that from
Okay,
Avaikotam Tiruvayar.
Okay.
And Tharumular was my first, that I would say that was one of the changing moment in my lessons for Vidyalaya, where we had to decode 3,000 tantirams, we call,
Okay.
on life.
Okay.
Never before completely into dance drama format. Right, because they were very philosophical.
Right.
And it's a saint who lived decades and decades ago. And his 3,000 codes on life
Wow.
were decoded through
In
dance.
form. Wow.
And we got to do it in the place where he attained Siddhi, in the same temple that he attained Siddhi. So I was recognized for that.
Okay.
So these were very, it came for the reason that I worked for.
Right.
So I rather feel it came directly. It was a blessing. That's it.
Wow.
So that's it.
You have revived folk traditions like Kolatam, Pinnal Kolatam, right? And even rituals like, how do you say that? Unchurvutti.
Unchuvritti.
Unchurvutti. Okay. Why was it important, do you think, for you to bring these back to the community? Can I say they were long forgotten, or they were not practiced much, or what is the story behind this?
You started with coming back, let's start from the grassroots level.
Yes.
They belong to the grassroots.
Wow. And do you think they have been long forgotten just because?
No, Kolatam is being done. Kolatam,
there?
Kolatam is like, I tried to bring Kolatam in everything. It's not that Kolatam is still a
It's still
surviving
a
tradition.
surviving tradition, okay.
But what I try to do is see this clapping hands is what is called Kummi Kolatam, right?
Right.
So this clapping, this noise, sound is very therapeutic. Especially when you dance or in a temple, I believe these sound reach God and say like, I am present.
Oh, it's like, oh, this is something that I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm present. So this is what we were told when we were all,
Right.
learning. And so that is why it was all done. And it was all done in the temple. So if you go back and see bhajans and everything, people start clapping. And they clap, This is the reason. And it also triggers your intellectual brain.
Oh, so there is a scientific reason also
Dance
behind
is
it.
scientific. Why we hold this? Why we hold like this? Why
Right.
all gurus are almost like this?
Right.
Yeah.
What's the reason behind that?
Again, these two supposed to trigger the intellect drinking.
Wow. Okay, so that's when you see a lot of these gurus meditating with this posture.
Yes.
Ah.
There's
So the hand on this.
So there's a dance also is the same. So that is Kolatam, Kummi
Kolatam,
and
okay.
Kolatam. And Pinnal Kolatam, the name itself suggests Pinnal is the Jade in Kannada.
Right.
So Pinnal is, you do the plates,
cross,
right?
yeah.
It is very much connected with mathematics.
Okay.
So it's like there are minimum of 10 pinnal, the drapes that fall.
Right.
And it's from top to bottom that you will have to literally through the song, through the calculations, you have to make the plate.
Wow.
One goes wrong, everything goes wrong. One child goes wrong, everything goes wrong. It doesn't
Wow.
form. So it's a lot to do with presence of mind, concentration.
Right.
And I would say, and also a sense of internal thinking, connect yourself, and you can't go wrong. So it helps you, keeps you grounded to
Right.
what you are doing. So Pinnal Kolatam, I made the students do it themselves. Because it was a practice in many of the villages which was not being done. So I asked the students of Vidyalaya to choreograph themselves to come to the formation.
Wow. Okay.
So it was their choreography, and I cannot claim credit that I did the choreography.
Got it.
I said, you make the calculation,
Right.
you do how the design,
Right.
and you come up with the final thing. And now we are, I would like to add here, in Bengaluru, we were specially invited for the first ever national anthem on cows.
Oh.
I
okay.
I support this national initiative for native cows
Right.
called Gopals. They conduct every year a walkathon for cows. So by the Vishaka Hari, the Harikatha exponent of India, composed this national anthem on cows, and we were specially invited to come and do this Pinnal Kolatam for the national
Wow,
anthem.
what an honor.
And thousands of audience around
Right.
who were immediately connected, because the concentration shifts to dance, right? You simply sing also.
Correct.
There people keep talking.
Correct. Visual always,
So
yeah.
it holds the concentration and improves your memory power also, because you need to be
Connected.
next. So the memory power. Now it's very easy, right? Because if I even classes, when I teach them, they say, "Ma'am, we will record." And they go back home and see the video and come back. So the concentration comes down. But in our times, like whatever was taught in class, you have to go and remember. You have to relive
Yeah,
that whole
yeah.
event. It was not so. So Pinnal Kolatam is something that this generation would need to, think.
Got it. Now, your institution has now become part of like the Home for Humanity movement in France,
Yeah.
right? How do you see Indian traditions connecting, let's say global audiences? How does that come by?
Last year, I said this is the 5th year we are hosting
Right.
online. Last year was the 4th year, and my theme was Sanatana Dharma,
Okay.
Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. The whole
Right.
world is one family.
One family, yeah.
And I invited these other Home for Humanity awardees, thanks to the co-founders who are also working for UNO, which is Ramamani and Alexander Jifa. So I got to interact with, we were collaborating. Vidyalaya was collaborating with these foreign international artists
Right.
who are also culturally rooted. So there was exchange of our culture, and we got to learn about them. And it is like we are not different.
Wow.
Their perceptions, their beliefs,
Mhm.
and ours are all the same. It connects to the same, the root that surrender,
Mhm.
work for the community, serve the community, try to, art is an easy medium
Mhm.
to connect to inner self. And
Can you say also transform for the
yeah,
better?
it's a
It's a transformational journey.
impactful transformation is what I
Wow.
would say.
Okay, got it. All right.
So that's what I learned, that they were not different from us,
Mhm.
and we all came together, and we realized we are trying to make Earth beautiful through our art.
Oh, wow. All right. Some say temple sanctums to national platforms. Okay. I'm saying this because I feel that you've recreated history through dance as a medium, right? Could you talk about, say, one presentation that left a lasting impact on you, that you can completely memorable impact?
Yeah, one is that what I said about that saint
Correct.
story,
Right. Mhm.
reliving,
Mhm.
and then there was this occasion that we had to relive the life of another saint,
Mhm.
and again his life was full of struggles,
Mhm.
and he couldn't. What do I say, manage his, I mean, he didn't know where his calling, he knew his calling, but he didn't know how to reach.
Right.
He was going through his own emotional, physical trauma,
Mhm.
struggles. I felt that was, all of us are facing that every day. It was just, that is
Right.
just represented through a story,
Right.
which is very, very unheard of in the present generation.
Right.
And we were asked to present this for another event
Acha.
at a different sanctum,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
temple sanctum
Temple
that I'm
sanctums,
saying,
yeah.
at a different sanctum. But then I suddenly receive a call from my organizers who know the work I do.
Right.
Come and present it here.
Oh,
It was,
in France.
no, not in
Not in
France.
France, but
Here in India.
India. Okay.
The saint who life's history that we were taking up
Uh-huh.
belonged to that place.
Wow. Full circle.
Yeah. So it was like he telling me, why you going there? Do for me here
Yeah.
first. Do it
Wow.
here, people here. And I saw the audience up in tears, and they said, you brought the life of that saint to us. We do not know how, we have only read it.
Right.
We have
In
only
books.
listened to it.
Mm.
We have sung.
Mm.
But we have never imagined that he would have suffered like this. You brought the suffering in front of us, and you brought the bliss that he received at the end, at this very place that he belonged to.
Wow.
So this is something that I would want to.
Mm.
Every performance is this is what we try to leave a mark and come. Like, it's because the general margams, or what we call, the dance that we do. It's like there's a naika, or there's a hero, there's a heroine, and then there is a something that they look for, or whatever. But I feel you need to transform the lives of these children,
Right.
the rural community children. You need to, even urban here, my students. This is not. It's not going to make a difference to them now, because when my notion of changing their life to empower their life skills need to be told in a different way, language.
Right.
So taking the life history of these saints who have lived, looking back to the rich literature that we have, which talks about everyday lives, how our Vedas, our Shastras. So all this I am decoding it through dance. So because for them, everyday life is a challenge. What difference is it going to make that this hero is liking this hero? This is that.
Yeah.
Live those lives, relive those, retell those tales through dance. Okay, they know. Okay, so this is what he attained after so much of struggle. So here, struggle it is your own inner conflicts. It's not your daily.
Got it.
Every one of us have that.
Yeah.
So it's like everyday challenges,
Yeah.
and how they attain bliss through the belief that they had, and transform that, help them understand that through the art and dance is
Got
what
it.
it.
Okay, now the Philatelic Bureau even released a souvenir stamp for all the services that you've done. How does it feel to see your work, can I say, literally stamped into history? How does that feel? I mean, I know we should be elated with the kind of work that has happened. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I need to stamp more into history.
That's true. That's always there, right? So you stamp into history once, you want to stamp
But
into.
that was one of most humbling event. Never would have thought that it would be, a souvenir stamp. And it's possible. I believe it's a souvenir stamp. So
Right.
with the word itself, that
Yeah, it's a souvenir. Yeah,
it's possible.
Mm.
But for the Philatelic Bureau to vouch for that and grant for that was something I think historic.
Okay, now let's talk about this aspect. For parents listening today, all right, how important do you think is to expose children to, say, classical art traditions, art and culture of that particular, it could be anywhere, any geographical area in the world. How important do you think parents should support their children?
Dance is not just a physical modem
Mm?
to keep yourself fit.
Okay, it's no longer a hobby.
It's not
Okay.
it could be a hobby.
Hobby,
I mean,
true, yeah.
because children have a
Right.
lot of academic pressures today.
True,
Whether
true.
it's here or whether it's the rural setup,
Mm.
they all have their own challenges because it is, and also it's needed. I mean, you need
Right.
to be. It's not like our times, so they all have go through academic pressures. But I think every parent, like how we all grew up, should give that space and time to the children to discover themselves through the art. Allow them
Right.
to discover themselves,
Right.
because that is what has done the transformation I see these last 5 years. So when the children come and tell, when I don't take class is when they are upset.
Right.
Why did you cancel the class? So in Melatour, when I say no class, so they say, Akka, this is where we feel ourselves.
Right.
This is where we are. So why did you not take the class?
Right.
And I still feel some parents say that maybe 10th standard, 12th standard, they want
Yeah,
to
the
take a
board
break.
exams. Yeah.
If that a break is taken, then the break is
It's
becomes a
done.
break.
Break.
So don't do that. I think that much of artistic time one needs to come out of the
Yeah.
the examination. Or
It's a
that,
perception,
yeah.
because it's the board exam. They
Yeah.
think, most parents think that is the most critical exam of their entire life. But then I think,
Right through my father's times, through my times, and now immediate my children from Bangalore who have done written 10th and 12th and have got 100% scholarship. We're all learning dance full time into
Full-time
dance classes.
yeah.
Even when they were in 10th and 12th. But right now, it's like when they come to 10th and 12th, they need the children need that artistic time, I would say. So look it up as a healthy time, just like how they eat, they can come half an hour. Let them give them that time, because they will actually excel better, because they
Right.
have that free space and they go back to study.
Agreed. Now, you come from a traditional, rich family of artists, dancers, and you yourself today, a national award-winning dancer, artist, accomplished artist. For all those dancers who want to accomplish tomorrow, be the dancers, follow their passion, follow their dreams, your piece of advice for them.
I don't think children these days need advice, because they're very
of course,
smart.
I mean, they are smart, but
They're
I
very
guess
smart, yeah.
advice coming from legacy, somebody who's seen legacy, somebody who's gone through that transformation phase themselves, I think is the most valuable advice that anyone can get. Minus all the social media and everything else. Think yes.
Follow your heart is what
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
Follow your heart. Believe in yourself. Dance can make you do anything.
Okay.
It builds you very, very strong inner self.
Right.
It's an expression that makes you more self-confident, makes you feel your presence.
Right.
So
Just
don't
follow
give
your
it
heart.
up.
Don't give it up. Okay, that's exactly what I feel as well. Don't give it up is the mantra, because I kind of come from the same line of thought as well, because I know if I'd given up, I would probably not be sitting here interviewing you as
Yeah.
well. So I
We are
got this
glad for
opportunity.
that.
Yeah.
We are glad you're sitting
You're
here.
sitting here.
And another thing is between art and the general professions, I would say, if you lose one job, you can go to another job.
Yeah.
You earn
Lose-
better.
yeah.
But when the artistic instincts, you close the door, it was not going to open back. So there is not
Agree.
everybody blessed with this kind of a,
Yeah.
like, you're an artist
I'm an
also.
artist
I'm an
too, yeah.
artist.
So, yeah.
So there's always should be a give and take. There's
yeah.
always we learn. Our learning it's very broad spectrum.
Yeah.
So keep your doors open, and just try to involve yourself in some art, is what I would say.
Got it. Now, what is your dream for Bhagavata Mela Vidyalaya in the next 10 years? Or let's say 5 to 10 years.
I wish it becomes a model village in
Okay.
every rural setup, that these children become ambassadors. They set an example for another village to function like what they were, because they were children who were just within the doors, just come out, go school, come back. But today there are my own art fraternity which says really feel proud of those children, and they pass on their wishes for such children. And Vidyalaya has already started on that mode, because this is the first year I'm announcing only on this platform.
Wow.
Another village, remote village, very culturally rich village, has trained and produced a set of rural children in Sanskrit drama.
Wow. So that's where we'll see.
Yeah, so I think every village should be inspired by the work, and I think we don't have to go elsewhere. We'll have our own culturally rich ambassadors who will make a difference to India and
Wow.
still be rooted to our tradition and culture.
Wow. Okay, now I have to say this phrase. Yato nrityati tato lokaha. Where there is dance, there is world. What does this mean to you in your journey? Because I know you will be able to resonate well with this one phrase.
I don't know any other world other than dance.
Wow.
Like when, because I even as you said, even before I was born, perhaps that's why my mom named me Priyamvada, which is again a very unique name.
What does it mean?
Priyamvada is it's there in our epics.
It's a Sanskrit?
Sanskrit, yeah, Kalidasa's work.
Okay.
Yeah, so Shakuntala's Sakhi is Priyamvada,
Oh.
Anasuya and Priyamvada.
Okay.
And my mom named me, and she said she thought if it is a girl, she has to name me Priyamvada.
Okay.
Priyam is like love.
Yeah.
Vada is speak. So speak sweetly, softly,
Okay.
with love, whatever.
Which you are.
So that is what it means.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even before I was born, I was destined to be.
Destined
This
to?
is what I am. And then the family atmosphere, the environment, where I was always within, with bells and resonation of
Got it.
the divinity around me, and what is good, what is our dharma, what are our duties, and culturally how responsible I should be, because I come from upholding a tradition. And then when I married and came, they were all very academicians, all of them. I probably am the only artist in the family.
Wow.
But I should say this, that when I married and came, I was too skeptical, because whether I would be a misfit.
Yeah.
But then it was my husband who said that I want you to continue to the tradition that you are carrying on,
Wow.
the
Okay.
lineage that you are coming from.
Right.
I am no one to stop that.
Wow.
I'm just coming halfway through your life. So life is short, make it sweet.
Nice.
So this is what he told us, and even today, it's like he's there behind me in every. I may not have my parents, my sisters all the time with me, but he's there,
Wow.
and my son is there. So,
Right.
so it's made me all the more like what I am doing,
Right.
and with so many children smiling, looking forward to my classes,
Right.
and I think dance is the world to me.
Wow. All right, having said that, I have one segment which is pending before we close this podcast, which is my favorite segment, where I get to kind of, on a light-hearted
Play.
note, play along with some
Play.
words, and, it's a rapid fire.
Okay.
So I give you 20 rapid fire questions and rapid fire answers. All right. So no hamper at the moment, but then I would still promise some sort of a nice entertainment from my end. All right. So shall we start the rapid fire?
Yeah.
All right. Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Oh, okay. Coffee, tea, or filter coffee?
Filter coffee.
Okay. If not a dancer, you would have been
Doing some kind of a service.
anything on mind? What kind of service?
I liked medicine.
Oh, okay. Got it. So your all-time favorite ragam or nadai to dance to? Which one?
Nadai is Nadai is Gantam, Thakka, Thakita, or Mishram, Thakka, Dhimi, Thakita.
Okay.
And then Ragam was, there are many Ragams.
Correct.
I can't be biased to my favorite Ragams.
Okay.
But I will have to say two, Kalyani and Mohanam.
Wow. Okay. I love them too. We compose music in that. So one food you will never say no to, no matter what.
Dosai.
Is it masala or plain? I'm just asking.
Masala, or it should be crispy. I don't
Crispy.
know.
Okay, crispy dosa. Stage or classroom, where do you feel most alive?
Stage, class, in the temple sanctum.
Okay, I forgot to add that then. I'll add it. All right. The first word that comes to your mind when you hear Bhagavatamela.
Surrender.
Okay. Sari or salwar, your comfort wear as a dancer?
Sorry.
Sari. Okay. Okay. One tradition you never miss following at home.
Tradition, you mean the daily customary
It could
practice?
be. It could be any practice that you never miss at home.
Lighting a lamp, because that's where Jyoti knowledge comes from.
All right. Who inspires you the most apart from your gurus? Let's say, keep your gurus aside. Who else inspires you the most? So it could be profession, personally, both.
That's a tough question.
I know. But yeah.
Who inspires?
Mm.
Can I give two?
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
It can be family, right?
It can be anybody. Anything. But no gurus. You can't
No,
mention
no
a guru.
gurus.
Yeah.
So it's my immediate family, my husband and
Okay.
son, who don't even who are my best critics.
Okay.
At the same time, let me do what I am.
Okay.
My sisters and their family,
Okay.
who believe, who never question again, who believe in what I do, and they say what we are not able to do, you are doing. So,
Okay. Got it. So, Instagram Reels or YouTube, which you enjoy most for dance videos?
None.
None.
I belong to the Hyder Ali generation.
Got it. Okay. One dance step you can do anytime, anywhere. Somebody says, hey, one dance step, this is what it is. So, which is the most favorite dance step? I know you can't show it here, but then unfortunately, but which is that one favorite dance step?
Anything with the just dola like this.
It's the hand movements.
Yeah.
Okay. The temple you feel that you're most connected to ever.
My heart.
Okay. All right. A song that always lifts your mood instantly. The moment you hear it, your mood is better. Which is that
Two.
one song? Okay.
It
No
can be a
problem.
mantra, but it starts anything that starts with Om,
Okay.
anything that starts with Shri.
Oh, okay. Now, what's tougher? Teaching kids or performing on stage?
Both are not tough.
But they're not tough. Your first teacher, I guess, who's saying this. All right. Now, Kolatam or Pinnal Kolatam? Your favorite, your personal favorite.
Pinnal Kolatam.
Any reason? You instantly give me an answer. So, any reason? I know it's rapid fire, but
Because it has both.
okay.
It has Kolatam, it has claps also, and it has Pinnal also.
Minato. Okay. One award or recognition that actually surprised you the most. Arey, I didn't expect this.
My first one, which is Natya Kalai,
Natya Kalai.
Semmal. Of course, that one at 10 years.
That you didn't see it coming. That was a surprise for
Yeah.
you.
So then I got many after that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was fine. But this is when I actually took my work very serious, and I presented, and I didn't know the first time itself it will give me a recognition.
Got it. Now, if you had to describe dance in just one word, what would it be?
Beautiful, soulful.
Soulful. Okay. What's one thing your students always kind of tease you about? It's very rare, I know. You can't tease
No,
a
they
guru,
tease
but
me.
they do? Okay. What is it about?
Learn more about Instagrams and
You kind of answered my other.
no, this is not the way, ma'am. You do this. Akka do this. So I accept that. I'm very. That's why I said Hyder Ali generation because that much remote I am connected.
Got it. Okay. Now, finally, Natya or Natyam? Which word feels closer to your heart?
Natyam.
Your reason being?
Because it's also dramatic. It has all the dance elements in it. Aharyam, yourself, the way you present, the way you do dance, and then the way you elaborate everything. It's complete wholesome.
Wow. I think this was a wholesome podcast. Thank you so much for
I
those,
hope
answering
so.
those rapid fire questions and also being here at White Pearl Studios. And this has been such an enlightening podcast for
I
not
hope
just for me, and I think all the viewers who are going to watch this eventually are going to, really appreciate the rich culture tradition that we are, and you have come through your journey. And I think we are really blessed to have you on this platform. No, it is, it comes straight from my heart because I really am a person who values culture and tradition in any art form, because I belong to that genre right now that I'm being an artist. So thank you so much, Premada, for being here today. And also I'd like to, like to make a request for your Natyalaya. Right, for your Vidyalaya rather. If anyone would feel like contributing, I know this is not a promotion. This is not told by Premada either. I want to take responsibility for it. We will leave the details for the bank accounts on the screen. So kindly make your contributions to this, right? To this account. It is going to go a long way, ladies and gentlemen. Right? So this is my request. It's not a promotion, but listen to your heart, I can say. Yeah, right?
Thanks so much for that
Yeah.
generosity. It's such a
Yeah,
noble
absolutely.
thinking, because it's going to change lives or
Yes.
bring smiles to so many children who are
Yes.
aspiring to see
Yes.
that experience and change,
Yeah.
transform,
Yeah.
and an impactful
Yes,
institution.
it's going to be a very impactful move that you will make by listening to your heart. So, ladies and gentlemen, kindly do that. All
And
right.
thank you for
Yeah.
bringing me onto this
Yeah.
platform, and I really appreciate it, because these are the things that we all need to know now,
Yeah.
to have your own inner dialogue. It can be art or it can be any other medium. The inner dialogue and space
Right.
is what I think is,
Yeah.
we don't have time for it.
Correct.
Mm.
So, having said that, we don't have time anymore left on this podcast. We'll have to say goodbye. So that was Srimati Premada Murli sharing her inspiring journey of dance, devotion, dedication to the Bhagavatamela tradition. Her story, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, reminds us that art is not just performance; it's a way of life. It's a bridge between the past and the future, and a tool to empower communities like how they're doing, how she's doing. So, if today's episode moved you, do share it with your friends and family. Don't forget, it's not about share, like, and subscribe anymore. We are talking about social media, but it's all about sharing these kind of stuff, this content, so that it brings about inspiration for all of you and all of them who are going to watch this and listen to this, right? So thank you for joining this podcast, a very insightful podcast, I must say. Until next time, may we all carry a bit of rhythm, grace, right, and purpose in our lives, everyday lives. So this is your host, Nikhil Kumar. Unfortunately, having to say, bye-bye from this particular episode. So thank you very much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. To watch other episodes on White Pearl Studios. For now, Nikhil Kumar and Premada Murli saying bye-bye. Take care.